I became very obsessed with these communities within communities within communities because
Mhm.
I feel like that's what it means to be a Caribbean Panamanian woman. I am Jamila Aisha Brown. I am the founder and global strategist at U Global. So, what I do basically, and the reason that I create, is out of my own heritage, my own culture. Growing up in the Midwest, really didn't have a lot of people who basically understood who I am, where I'm from, my own histories, and you grow up, and if you're kind of the only one or an anomaly in your community, you end up being a teacher just by default because people, when I was in fifth grade, we went to Panama over summer break, and people were like, Panama City, Florida? It's like, no, the country. There's a canal there. The U.S. happens to have control of that canal. So you end up doing all of these things, and people would say, okay, Panama, so you're black, so is that in Africa? And you're like, no. It's like, what language do they speak? Spanish. You speak Spanish? So I just, by virtue of just my upbringing and being really interested in being part of a community within a community within a community, I got really excited and interested in people who had similar stories. So I have really just kind of created a business around social justice problems and development solutions to solve those social justice problems. And a lot of that because, my family deals with issues of race and class. It was something that, coming from the Caribbean to work on the Panama Canal was something that was very interesting and jarring part of Panamanian history. But also, a lot of people don't know that the U.S. actually implemented Jim Crow in the Panama Canal as well, and really did a lot to forge wedges between the Afro-coloniales, who are the descendants of slaves in Panama, and the Afro-Antillanos, who are those that come from the Afro-Antilles in the Caribbean. So for me, it's really just been a passion to look at racial issues, but actually didn't really know that that's what I was going to do, or was able to really find myself until I moved to Guatemala in 2005, and I worked with indigenous witnesses of the genocide cases there. And by working on the genocide case with indigenous people, I just kept thinking about it. I was like, wait a minute, like I'm not doing enough for my own community in this region. And then, we're working on Afro-Latino issues, just really starting to understand more how so many communities were reaching to Africa in Latin America. So just trying to connect the entire diaspora. So that for me has grown into not just working in Latin America, but also working on the continent. And my latest real obsession is Afro-Arab, because there are so many communities, Black communities, that are reaching out to the West, particularly African American, who tend to be more visible than other Black groups. And because of so much media that we control, coming from this country is one of our major exports. So you are able to see like real visible images of Black people. So people consume those images, and they're interested in the culture and the dance and the music, and hip hop definitely being a great communicator and a driving force are reaching people from Yemen to Australia to the South Pacific. So that's why I create, is to really unite the diaspora.